Friday night at 7, Barrington takes the trip from Rhode Island to take on New Bedford at Walsh Field. And this is going to be another good test for the Whalers, another good team coming in.
Yep. Last week I got the privilege of seeing New Bedford. I hadn't seen them yet this season. I made the trip down to Barnstable. It was kind of a misty, rainy, not great night. The ball was a little bit wet. It was on the ground a couple times.
We call that autumn on the Cape.
Yes. I don't know if it was raining anywhere else besides where I was at, but it wasn't the best of nights, and it took a while for New Bedford to get going. I mean, the first drive, the Whalers ended up driving all the way down the field. They fumbled the ball. Didn't do much else in the first half on offense, and then they finally got on the scoreboard in the second half, and they ended up scoring twice. Jonathan Moraes, he ended up scoring twice, but Hector Diaz, he really just kind of broke down Barnstable's defense, just with a pounding kind of ground attack, and then finally he broke through for a couple big runs. And both of his big runs set up those 2 touchdowns. So it was kind of like I said to him after the game. I said, "You're not upset that you get it down to the 2 or the 3, and they give the ball to your teammate Jonathan." He said, "Oh no, it doesn't matter who scores as long as we score and as long as we win." And that's the mentality at New Bedford this year. They were really excited after the game, not just putting 14 points on the board. That didn't really matter to them, but putting 0, for Barnstable, pitching that shutout. I know after the game, all the kids were talking about donuts. They were told that if they had either 3 quarterback sacks or if, they pitched a shutout, they were going to get donuts bought for them the next day. So I don't know if that'll slow them down this week. Hopefully not.
No, not with their metabolism.
No. They're young kids. They're, that's not going to bother them this week. But it'll see. I mean, we always try and, when we play a team that's out of the state, got to try and look it up. Barnstable, they've actually lost 2 of their last 3 games. They're coming off a loss to Bishop Hendricken, which Bishop Hendricken, anybody that knows anything about Rhode Island football, is usually always one of the top teams in the whole state. It's kind of like... And
Barrington's taking the ride, too. I mean, they've got to travel for this game.
So you got to think that New Bedford has the advantage in that sense. And Barrington has scored 30 or more points in 3 of their 5 games this year. So they can put some points on the board. It might end up being a shootout, or who knows, maybe New Bedford's defense will come up and have another strong game again this week. Because I know last week, there were so many defenders kind of just swarming at Barnstable, and Barnstable's a young team, so the players didn't really know too much of what to do, with such a tough defense coming at them. But Jack DeMarco threw 3 touchdown passes last week for Barrington against Bishop Hendricken, and he had over 350 passing yards in that game. Actually, not in that game, for the season. He has 350 passing yards. So. It'll be interesting to see, how New Bedford matches up against a team, that's probably one of the best in Rhode Island, because week in and week out, usually they play, the good teams in this area. So, and they've been playing Barrington. We were trying to figure this out, how many years it's been, but it's been quite a few years now. So I think it's starting to become, a rivalry, across state lines.
If it's one thing I've learned in my life, never underestimate the power of donuts. You can follow along with all the action from the game on Twitter at SC_varsity, and you can join in the conversation using the hashtag SCVfootball.